Hi, everybody. I'm Mark from Colu, one of the co-founders and VP Blockchain. And I came to talk about Colu and a bit about why we do what we do. So we're a company that is doing local currencies in four cities in two countries, Israel and UK. We're doing that with blockchain technology. And our company started 3 years ago with a presumptuous mission to change the way that money is being created and used. And back then, when we started as a blockchain company, there was no blockchain industry yet. We called ourselves a Bitcoin 2.0 company. And we started by looking at the software stack that goes on top of the blockchain. Back 3 years ago, it was the first wave of blockchain companies. And they were really looking at this space and what this technology can allow. And we looked at really how can we make digital asset issuance on the blockchain more approachable. And we built a protocol called colored coins to do it. And over time, we understood that blockchain technology's endgame, or the endgame of cryptocurrencies, is really give each user his own private key. And this will drive massive consumer change. So we understood that it's better to be close to the client and understand how this technology changes behavior. So we decided to focus on consumer. So 2 years ago, we started with this product. It's a digital wallet that allows you to transact locally in a specific city. The first version was really super simple. There's no friction, there's no bitcoins, there's no 10 minutes verification time, everything is instant. And we really try to understand how to change or create this habit of paying locally with a mobile phone and create a closed monetary system. So you can basically topping up your account and you're in a frictionless environment. You can move money around to friends, to businesses. And the first thing we did is really start onboarding small, medium businesses. Why specifically SMBs? So 2 reasons primarily. The first reason is the fact that they're the biggest employer. They're the biggest in pretty much any economy, the biggest employer of workers. And also the second reason is they're underserved. They pay the highest fees for payment processing. Usually they lack access to the digital economy, and they have the least digital presence online. So small businesses usually are less technological. So the first thing we did is really issue a currency which is backed by fiat, backed by national currencies in Tel Aviv, Haifa, which are 2 cities in Israel, and Liverpool and London. The currency, you can use it only in SMBs or move it around between you and your friends and family, and only in a specific geographical area. So the idea was to really connect the really old concept of local currencies. We have a lot of those in Europe. For a lot of years, they're primarily small and also paper-based. So we try to marry this old concept with blockchain technology. And this is our product. You can see on the left, I can see how much money I have. I can see where I can spend it. I have a pay button, so it's really fast to pay. It shows me the closest area, the closest business to where I'm at. And I can see a map of all the businesses, so we have a very nice coverage. Those are all SMBs, bakeries, shops, restaurants, grocery stores, laundromats, everything you need to live your everyday life, on your everyday routine. And on the left, on the right, you can see I made a payment. It's very fast. The merchant gets it immediately. We have a special merchant app. And the merchant can also withdraw the money to his bank account, because eventually the merchant needs to pay rent. But the users, the only way for them to actually get the money out is by actually spending it. So they need to go downstairs physically to a shop and spend those shekels or pounds. We have about 1,500 businesses over the last 2 years. The biggest economy is currently Tel Aviv, and also it's the biggest local currency in the world in terms of volume. About 150,000 users, 2 million monthly throughput. It's about 10 shekels on average, about a coffee cup on average. So it's really small purchases. We got 40 million funding. 30 of it is in our ICO 3 months ago, which I will elaborate. And we were voted Startup of the Year in 2017 in Israel. So the idea of creating this new means of payment or digital means of payment is really to create a habit for users to pay with a mobile phone. So giving them a bonus each time they're shopping at the store. At the beginning, they're coming from the bonuses, but they stay because it's comfortable. So this is the graph that shows it. The idea is to create this habit and make people click the pay button on the left and make it intuitive for them to reach out for the phones and not for their plastic cards. So how do we expand this, or what's our plans in the future? The idea is to create a replicable model, a digital way of creating and bootstrapping those local economies, really growing them from bottom up. In every country we operate, currently we need to actually hire people on the ground. Blockchain and cryptocurrency allows us to expand in a more protocol way. So if we want to operate, for instance, in Czechoslovakia, in India, in South America, we can work with companies physically there without hiring anybody and actually work with them by basically sharing the same protocol. The idea is that the token that we created allows us to create liquidity for the network. Basically, each local economy that wants to onboard to the network can do it by using CLN for backing. So issuing a currency, this is what we learned 3 years ago, is not the only thing you can do. I issue the currency, so what? Who wants to buy it? In order to create a system like that, you actually need liquidity. Somebody needs to want to buy this currency or sell it. So the idea is that the CLN token is providing liquidity for all the transactions on the network. So basically, when users transact on the daily routine, there's a CLN token behind the scenes providing all the liquidity that is needed. And the vision is fairly simple. The idea is that when I'm transacting at a grocery store and I'm paying, for example, 100 shekels, a specific percentage of that sale is actually being sent in real time to a smart contract on the Ethereum network, which is basically, if anybody knows here, it's basically a small, very simple, even mechanic, decentralized exchange. Basically gives me all the market operations I need, including price discovery, selling and buying. And in real time, I can basically convert a specific percentage of the sale to cryptocurrency and reward the user for each transaction they're making. So as the user goes around the city and buys stuff, is getting a cashback or getting a reward in cryptocurrency. This cryptocurrency can go up and it can go down. The more people will use it, the higher it goes. Its supply is fixed, so its demand can go up and down, and based on that, the price is calculated through the smart contract. It's basically a loyalty program on steroids. Think about air miles, but you can actually shop with them, and you can transfer them between wallets, and you can actually see them rise and fall depending on the usage. And the story for the consumer is really simple. When you're going to a shop and you want to make a transaction, you have a Visa terminal and you have a Colo terminal. And if you're using the Colo terminal, instead of those 1%, 2%, 3% that goes to Visa, those percentages are going to your pocket. So basically getting a cashback from the network and moving money around, a very different system than how Visa works. So how will blockchain and Colo will drive an economic change? So doing an ICO or issuing a token is a big change for a company. We started as a VC-backed company and then decided to go and focus on our own token, build our network basically around a token, not around the blockchain. The idea is that a company that is doing an ICO already has certain rules. So first of all, we will never make money from fees. It's not that nobody will make money from fees on our network, it's just you don't have a Visa or one centralized basically company that is renting, that is extracting rent. You have thousands of players that can equally participate and get fees from the network. So Colo will not be the only company that will make money from fees. Will never make money from data. So the entire thesis behind cryptocurrencies and blockchain in general is the idea that we give users more control over their data. And because we don't have the data, the users have the data over time, we will not make money. The industry will move from making money from the data, which is basically the business model of pretty much any new digital bank, and move really to a new model. We will never make money from selling code, so all the companies in this space are basically developing their code in open source. Opens up room for a lot of collaboration. Even banks today started, IBM and Microsoft, and also the entire cryptocurrency space. Nobody is selling code. And it really brings a lot of room for collaborations. Competitors can share resources, and it's a very different way to collaborate even between competitors. And of course, the most important part, every user becomes a stakeholder. So when I'm buying locally, when I'm going around the city and purchasing stuff, I'm not only getting a reward, I'm also becoming a stakeholder in the network. Colo is not holding the majority of the tokens in all of those economies. Those tokens are distributed by shopping locally, and Colo has a stake in each and one of those local economies. And every user in those economies is a stakeholder of his specific economy. So this is basically about Colo. Thank you for listening.